So we'll do the interviews in the order of the letters of interest that were submitted to us. So first we have Andrew Tillotson. And Andrew, if you would please state your name, address, your voter status, and then tell us about your interest in the position.
Yeah. So, my name is Tillotson. Most people say it that way.
Oh, sorry.
I don't blame you at all. A lot of people call me Andrew though. I've been a registered voter in DeKalb probably ever since I turned 18. What else would be?
Your address, please.
My address is 415 Pine Street.
415 and a half Pine.
That'd be a weird spot right now.
And just, so you have 3 minutes. Can I give each speaker 3 minutes, please? Go ahead.
So I want to say first and foremost, I love DeKalb. I love serving DeKalb ever since I moved here in the 2nd grade. I've been everywhere, as Mary has mentioned, at soup kitchens. I volunteered at food pantries. I even made a local nonprofit called DeKalb that focuses on environmental nutrition around. I've gone to trash cleanup. I've gone to everything I possibly can to come back to give back to the community I love. I'm one of the weird people that went to college in the Twin Cities and then came back to DeKalb because I loved it that much. And I planned on sticking around for a while because it's a very wonderful community. I have, for this good 5 years of experience running meetings, recording minutes, and otherwise signing off on a lot of official documents, everything from a 1-page form to a giant 30-page packet of paperwork. I have a background in nonprofits and things, right? And so this opportunity for me as a clerk is wonderful because it allows me to serve as a public servant for the first time. I really appreciate what she does in terms of medical assistance, and fixing up the highways, and just what this body does. And I think you all are wonderful public servants. Something I may have over some of my contemporaries here too, and I do not mean to trash talk my contemporaries. Anyone that wants to apply to this position is very cool in my book. If you want to do like I do, I'm sure we can be great friends. Talk about our love for the township. But I definitely am younger, obviously. But I think in that youngness, I have a certain skill set, right? Young people are good at computers, troubleshooting Zoom and all that. That would be useful as the clerk, as well as, cataloging a lot of information. But on top of that, I think that every governmental body should represent all the constituency. And I don't think anyone in this room is as right? But I would like to bring that, youthful perspective here in the township board. Yeah, I'm very passionate about DeKalb, what I do. I'm currently getting a graduate degree in data analytics. So when I say I'm good with technology, it doesn't. I do in fact mean that pretty much every day. When we lose this, I really do intend on serving the community as much as possible. I would like to thank you all for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. And thank you for all of your work as public servants here in the township. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So what I thought we could do is after each individual speaker, if you have questions, and then again at the end, in case questions pop up in your head, try to be as comprehensive as possible. So if any of you have any questions?
I do actually.
Okay.
When are you graduating? And if you were to land like your dream job in a different area, how would you handle that?
Sure. So I'm graduating at the end of the next fall semester as a person that works in data analytics. Frankly, I expect to be working at the Sir Donald Foundation in a full-time capacity, which isn't DeKalb, so I don't plan on moving. When I say I plan on sticking around, I do in fact mean that I have a plan because I know this isn't a full-time gig that is sustainable. That's a very fair question. If I were to, for some reason, go away somewhere else, I would obviously have to submit a letter of resignation if I was outside of DeKalb, but I don't intend to. Just want to hear applying. That makes sense. But that's very much right. Usually people are in transit when they're in grad school, so that's what I do until I'm saying.
Anyone else?
Did you attend an IU for undergrad also?
No, I went to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. That's like the only
Oh, you did.
3 years of my life that I've been outside of DeKalb, and I came right back. Huskies.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Okay, and then next we have Melissa Gallagher.
Melissa Gallagher,
Oh,
address 423 South Second Street, DeKalb. I've lived there 26 years. I came to DeKalb in 1991 as a graduate student and finished my graduate degree there and worked right outside of town in St. Charles for a few years at Arthur Anderson, and then came back to raise my family, came back to work at the Kentucky Family YMCA as Director of Human Resources. And I just college as the Director of non-credit short-term training and continuing education programs. I have 3 children. 2 have completed DeKalb schools. One is a junior at DeKalb High School. One child is a graduate of Kishwaukee College and a graduate of NYU. Another child chose to go out of state to play sports. And the third one is I have grown to love DeKalb. I wasn't really sure I was going to stay when I came in 1991. Actually, my plan was to leave, but you know, they say once you touch the Kishwaukee River, you don't leave town. So I pretty much decided to stay, and I'm very happy that I did. I've been able to get very involved in the community. As I mentioned in my letter, I've served on various committees and boards, PTA. I was president of the DeKalb County Association of Human Resource Managers for a long time. I'm currently a volunteer with St. Vincent de Paul Society through the Raymond Catholic Student Center, as well as a volunteer for volunteer actions. Part of the reason why I became aware and interested in the township and this position is through my work with St. Vincent de Paul and understanding educational assistance provides to the community and how we can connect that information and assistance to our neighbors in need. So given the opportunity to, you know, be more engaged as the clerk, I thought that would be a really great way for me to better understand all of the resources that are available through the township to help our neighbors. I volunteer as often as possible in many capacities throughout the community and feel like everybody should be engaged in ways to help our community and give back. So I'm really excited to learn more about what the township does and to be able to figure out a way for me to even more so engage and help our members of our community. Very much for your question.
and your voter status?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm a registered.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any questions for Melissa?
You said you came in grad school in 91. What discipline?
Masters of Education in Instructional Design.
Oh, yeah. You know, Andy Torres.
I retired right before I started because he was in library science.
Actually, I believe.
Okay. You don't remember all the addresses from 30 they end up. P. West, Howard Swan. I worked with them in the
Questions? Other questions? Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, and then Steve, you're up. Your address, your voter status, and your interest in the position, please.
Steve Kapitan, I live at 1228 Sycamore Road, and I'm a longtime registered voter, longtime voter. I moved to DeKalb in 1980, and to go to school here, I got my bachelor's in economics, and I have stayed in the community and gotten involved in many different areas in the community, from peace and justice work to most recently the League of Women Voters in this room. Well, first of all, I wanted to thank the board for considering my application for office of the township clerk. Having served 12 years on the city council in DeKalb from 1995 to 2007, I believe that experience gave me a good understanding of meeting procedures and the deliberative process that a governmental body carries out. I reviewed the Townships of Illinois video outlining the duties and responsibilities of the township clerk and the information that supervisor has sent out, which included the PowerPoint from the video and the state statute on the role of the township clerk. I found that many of the duties are very similar to those that I had as city clerk, where I served for nearly 3 years from 2009 to 2012. That includes taking minutes of meetings, maintaining the records, publishing public notices, filing records at the county clerk's office, posting meetings for the Open Meetings Act, and requesting signatures. I also visited the township website and read the agendas and minutes of the meetings for the past year to get an idea of the activity of the township. And I had a general idea, but I had not been following the specifics, so I wanted to see what was going on. As city clerk, I also served as the city's FOIA officer for non-police records requests. In that role, I reduced the response time up to one day by scanning paper requests and forwarding them via email to the appropriate people of the city. I used Excel to maintain files for a variety of licenses issued by the city and worked with the mail merge feature of Word to process the mailings to licensees. For the past 9 years, I've been employed full-time as the scan coordinator / file maintenance clerk for Jewel Foods in Sycamore. My duties involve maintaining the address system for more than 40,000 products within the store. Tag, you look at that tag and you know where to look. That has an address on it. My duties involve maintaining this. I also coordinate several thousand price changes each week and correct the errors that occur. My full-time schedule frees up weekday evenings for meetings and some flexibility business hours as well. I would also like to outline the circumstances of my resignation as city clerk in 2012 and answer any questions regarding it. So,
Okay.
if you have any questions about that, I'd be glad to answer.
All right. So I'm an Android person and this is an iPhone.
Is that my time?
Yeah, that's your time. Yeah, sorry.
I thought, unless you were getting a phone call.
Thank you. No, no.
Oh, that was me getting the phone.
Sorry about
That was a
that.
perfect storm.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Steve?
I'd like to hear what you're gonna say about your resignation as clerk.
I took office in 2009 in the depths of the Great Recession. And the city had finances were in very bad shape. We had no reserves and revenues were falling. And the city had to make significant budget cuts and lay off significant people. That included the full-time deputy clerk in my office. And as a result, it was reduced to myself and a part-time person with the same responsibilities. And long story short, there's a lot to it, but I got behind on closed session minutes. And the city manager, I was catching up with them, but the city manager chose to he convinced the council to take me to court. And when on a Thursday, demanded that I leave and say, we're going to court on Monday and we want your resignation. I ended up resigning, but not realizing until later that, in speaking with the municipal attorney, that the violation that they were taking to the court over was in for traffic in terms of the open meeting. As I said, I was catching up on those meetings when this occurred. So I take responsibility for shortcomings that I had, but that's the circumstances. Please.
Or, thank you.